It wasn't a marriage alone that failed. It was a whole belief system imploding, a religious devotion, decades of dedication, all falling apart in front of the world's eyes. The Brown family, long a daring demonstration of how plural marriage was possible in our modern world, has now become something else, a picture of emotional suffering, secret betrayals, and women finally standing up for themselves after decades of being emotionally shoved aside. Hi all, my name is Mia, and welcome back to Reality Recap, where we don't recap the drama, we sit with it. We ask the tough questions, the kinds most people avoid. If you've been watching the Browns as long as I have, then go ahead and smash that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. What was the turning point that made you realize things would never be the same again? Because today, we're not talking rumors. We're talking real transformation. The kind that jolts a woman awake at 2 a.m. after years of being told to just have faith and to wait it out. But it didn't get better. It got worse. And what happens when the very foundation of your life, loyalty, spiritual commitment, shared motherhood, stops holding up? Christine said it first, out loud. She was finished. No more playing nice for the cameras anymore. No more smiling past the neglect. When she left in 2021, it wasn't a breakup, it was freedom. And that choice shook up everything around it. Janelle, ever the pragmatist, attempted to hold the pieces together, but she was also exhausted with forcing back tears to maintain harmony, exhausted with seeing her children bear the burden of emotional distance. And then there is Meri. Her quiet loud enough to ring in every sit-down interview, following years of being emotionally behind Cody, she inched her way back to building herself. Meanwhile, Cody was coming apart. In his mind, he was still the head of the family, still holding on to the dream. But the reality? That dream had long since gone on without him. So now the question is, what do you do when the family you gave your all to starts to break apart? Not all at once, but slowly, agonizingly, and in total public display. If there was one moment that actually changed everything, it was when Christine got up and declared, "I'm not happy. I deserve more." That wasn't merely a personal epiphany. It reverberated throughout the entire Brown family. For years, Christine had been the wife who cooked dinner, raised the children, held up the dream, even slipping into the shadows. But something within her finally snapped. And for real? She needed it to happen. She spent years observing Cody emotionally check out, particularly after Robin came into the scene. And let's be real, we all witnessed it. The favoritism, the drifting apart, the vanishing partnership. Christine transitioned from being an equal partner in a plural marriage to existing solely in name. And that's not only painful, it's humiliating. Leaving Cody wasn't an impulse. It was a slow burn that had been building for years. She did everything she could. Therapy, open discussions, being vulnerable. But when Cody said he wasn't attracted to her anymore and had no plans on fixing the relationship, that was it. So she left, gathered her things, informed the children, and drove to Utah, restoring her dignity mile by mile. And what about her children? They sensed the change, particularly Truly, who was too young to really understand what was happening, but Christine managed it with care and honesty. She wasn't running away. She was demonstrating self-worth. She was teaching her daughters what it means to choose yourself. Then David Woolley, a completely different love story. No drama, no polygamy, no pecking order, just happiness. After all those years of invisibility, Christine started to shine. Her smile was brighter. Her laugh was louder. Her Instagram was an open door into her actual life, not the television fabricated one she created for cameras. She's now creating a business, opening a short-term rental venture, publishing a memoir, flourishing on social media. She's not only surviving after polygamy, she's redefining success on her own terms. Along the way, Christine became a symbol for all the women who waited too long to say anything, who continued to hope their needs would one day matter. She ceased waiting for permission from someone else to be happy. She ceased putting herself last in pursuit of a dream that never really belonged to her. Christine isn't just free, she's finally whole. Whereas Christine's leaving was a melodramatic closing of the curtain, Janelle's journey has been less boisterous, but no less powerful. If Christine lit the match, Janelle added the firewood. Her tale isn't about a single defiant, explosive instance. It's about perseverance, riding wave after wave of emotional exhaustion while bearing a financial burden no one else appeared to be willing to bear. Ever since, she's been quietly piecing together a new life, one cautious step at a time. She founded Tata Farms, an agricultural business with her children, based on sustainability and heritage. She's not posting glam photos or showing off viral dance challenges on TikTok. She's not jumping into a new relationship. Janelle's rebuilding her life the way she's always done it, solid, stable, and resilient. And she's broken up pretending about Robin. She's told it straight. The two of them do not have a real relationship, and she's quit pretending they do just to maintain appearances. Janelle's not being bitter. She's just telling the truth. And sometimes that sort of truth hurts all the more. What makes Janelle's journey so compelling is that it's happening later in life. No dramatic escape, no quick reward, just quiet resilience. She didn't chase the spotlight. She didn't need a man to prove her worth. Janelle simply decided, I want peace, and I'll create it myself, brick by brick. She may not be the loudest voice in the room, but don't mistake her silence for weakness. Her quiet strength says everything. While Christine made noise and Janelle drew her boundaries, Meri's story was something else entirely. It wasn't loud. It wasn't public, at least not at first. It was quiet, almost invisible. A slow burning storm of heartbreak and hope that took years to fully unfold. And honestly, it's one of the most heartbreaking transformations in this entire family breakdown. Meri was the first wife. She set the foundation. She had a deeper faith in the doctrine of plural marriage than anyone, and she was the first to fall through the cracks. The emotional abandonment did not come suddenly. It slowly seeped in, cold, unspoken, and years in the making. She was marginalized, ignored in plain sight, and ultimately shamed for having the audacity to desire more. We all remember the catfishing scandal. That wasn't just a mistake. It was Meri crying out for connection, a desperate attempt to feel seen again. But instead of empathy, she was met with isolation. And Cody? He made his position painfully clear. He hadn't seen her as a wife in over a decade. That kind of dismissal doesn't just break a heart. It shatters a person's self-worth. But then Meri did what she did next. That's where her quiet revolution started. She went to therapy, not for Cody, not for the cameras, but for herself. Gradually, she released the need for his approval. She dropped the contorting into the role of a Robin-style wife, that exhausting narrative that if only she were more diplomatic, more patient, more subservient, she would finally be enough. Meri finally spoke truth to the lie. With her Worthy Up brand, she started speaking out, her heartbreak, her healing, and the journey back to self-worth. She took on solo missions, storytelling, and experiences that sparked something within. And though it wasn't loud or flashy, it was intensely authentic. Meri isn't angry. She isn't striking back. She's taking back her life on her own terms. And given everything she's been through, that's a revolution in itself. If the wives' tales are ones of healing, growth, and hard-won freedom, then Cody's are ones of collapse. not only of his family, but of the identity he constructed around control, around spiritual leadership, and of always being the center of attention. And now? That world he commanded is smaller than ever. We've watched it unravel season after season. Cody, growing more bitter, more defensive, and increasingly isolated. As Christine walked away, then Janelle, he didn't self-reflect. He didn't pause to ask how it all fell apart. Instead, he dug his heels in deeper, clinging to the one person who hadn't left. Robin. But that decision had a price tag, for in selecting Robin time and time again, he drove his other children further away. And it wasn't discreet. Noticing was the fan community. When he skipped birthdays, remained silent during crises, or faulted his children for failing to obey his directions mindlessly. The emotional distance between Cody and his older kids, particularly those with Christine and Janelle, expanded into what now appears to be full-blown estrangement. Then there was that moment, the so-called tough love versus mothering love comment. Cody said his children did not require coddling. They required firmer limits. It was brutal. It stung. And it didn't only offend the wives. Social media blew up. Audiences were angry. The idea that fatherhood was less about being understanding than in charge failed miserably, particularly from a guy who had not been a steady figure in many of his children's lives. And when the tell-all episode aired, it all fell apart right there on TV. Cody wasn't sorry. He was angry, simmering. He ranted about betrayal, loyalty, and being finished with people who didn't respect him. But to so many viewers, it seemed like a man drowning in shame and striking out. There was no introspection, no openness, only rambling monologues. And fans who had once cheered him on despite his flaws were left reeling. The truth was irrefutable. Cody hadn't lost just his marriages. He had lost the faith of his family, perhaps even the viewers who had considered him a leader. And then there's Robin, arguably the most complex character in this whole unfolding, or the most infuriating, depending on whom you ask. When Robin joined the Brown household, she was depicted as the new beginning, the optimistic newcomer, Cody's soulmate, as he's referred to her. But forward a few years, and Robin is not living happily ever after. She's more alone than ever. Robin attempted to be the peacemaker at one time. She said all the right things. She cried when the others were crying, but as time went on, that image started to fracture. And then was that fateful moo remark, needling Christine's grief by equating her suffering with a mooing cow. It was discordant, unfeeling, and stuck in viewers' heads. That moment flipped a switch. Robin wasn't just removed. She became the very embodiment of what the other wives were leaving behind. Next were the money queries. Fans had seen the expensive decorations, the doll sets, the weird purchases, all at a time when Janelle was camping out in an RV and struggling to make ends meet. The so-called family pot. It suddenly appeared as though only one person was still dipping into it, while everybody else had abandoned it. But perhaps the most heart-wrenching was when Robin confessed to feeling like the idiot left behind. Not the winner, not the chosen one, simply left. And now she is alone, grasping for a dream everyone else had the strength to let go of. When you step back and look at the big picture, the heartache, the quiet, the turmoil, what truly shines through isn't so much the fall of a family. It's the strength of the women who refuse to stay small. Christine, Janelle, and Meri did not merely leave Cody behind. They left behind a system that required them to remain in small ways. And today, each of them is emerging, in her own voice, louder, bolder, more free. Yes, reality television caught their worst moments. It revealed the tears, the drama, the meltdowns. But it also bestowed upon them something incredible, a voice. An opportunity to teach other women who are watching that it's never too late to take back your life, that staying alive is not the same as living. So here's the question I'm going to leave you with. Is it more important to remain silent in order to maintain the peace, or walk away and finally catch a breath? Reply in the comments. Whose journey speaks most to you? Christine's bold jump, Janelle's steady persistence, Meri's quiet reclaim, or even Robin's tug of war to hang on as everything unravels? Thanks for watching, friends. I'm Mia, and you've been right here with me on Reality Recap. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and come back for more raw, honest takes on the stories behind the show.